When you've grown up on a housing estate, you learn very quickly about the fight or flight mode, because you would often have kids who just want to be disruptive, adults that would just wanted to use their maturity to demoralise you, and so you had to fend for yourself, and you had to fight your corner. It wasn't always the case to walk away. You had to stick up for yourself, and I've learnt that throughout my life, and it's what's made me who I am today. And however many people may disagree or dislike me, that is your choice. If you want to believe that I talk shit, then that's again your choice. But I know in my heart, in my mind, who really is telling the truth and who's not. And I think I can safely say that, you know, they start to act like a kid in a playpen who's had their toy taken away from them. They feel like they've, you know, if they don't kick and scream, they're not being seen as powerful when they're not powerful at all. They're just people who use words just for the sake of it. So, the fight and flight mode is basically you either run or you fight. And people that, you know, do bullying are those that as soon as you go for them, they fly like the wind. And those that, you know, are generally upset with you will fight you, because they are not out to hurt. They just want you to know that you're being unrecognisably kind, which I've done before, done in my life. I've not been a sweet and innocent by any means, but I've learned from those mistakes, and that's what makes someone who is that is what makes somebody who will fight all the way, because they know that a lot of it is just lashing out because they can't shout at anyone else, so they want you to hear them, when actually, you know what it is? It's just noise. It's noise for the sake of it. It's noise because they've. You see my other video I did about, you know, do some adults ever grow up? And no, they don't. They are the people that will shout and scream, but as soon as you go to confront them, they don't say boo to a goose. And that's where the fight and flight mode comes in. Sometimes I will walk away from it if I can, or I will make it clear that I know what you're doing, but I'm not in any way bothered by it. It's just that you are making yourself look an idiot, and you think you're making yourself look tough. You're not by any means. You're making yourself look even more immature every time you know, slam a door or chuck a spoon. You're just being like a kid having a never-ending tantrum, and you're not really You're not really making any kind of point at all. You're saying that I feel like you're hurting me because I'm helping other people, when it's like, no, I think we both know what the truth is. And if you're never going to please everyone, and those who are not happy with what I do, that's their choice. I'm not making them think any different. That's what they've decided. But people who shout and holler all the time are just doing it because they just want to hear their own voice, and they fear when you speak to them, because they know that you are straight to the point, and that you will never back down, and that you will always be the stronger one out of the two, because it's about strength, but it's also belief. You must have belief in yourself. Never let anybody take that away from you. And I'm now in a place where I can actually say that I'm proud of being me, and that's taken a long time for me to say that, but I am. I'm glad that I'm not someone who lashes out for the sake of it. I'm glad that I'm not someone who trolls somebody online because they can't see me. I'm glad I'm not that person who chucks things away when they could be recycled and reused. I'm glad I'm not that person who and makes someone feel that they're not welcomed. And I'm proud that I'm not that person like they are, that is jealous, begrudging, and have no self-worth in it. Because if they did, if they really want to gain respect from people, then they need to respect others how they wish to be respected. And that is a commandment that I always stick by, because it's true. Don't judge those don't judge those how you wish not to be judged. Don't be unkind to those how you wish to be treated. And would you like someone to be unkind to you? No. And then and people will see who are genuine, that I'm not doing these videos to score points or to make anybody change their mind about things, but to raise awareness of the things that happen in normal life that may be troubling some people. But you always know when it's the right time to fight or fly. And I'm one of these that I will not always lash out straight away or fight back straight away. I will wait and I will take on board what they're saying, and then when I'm ready to, I will address it. But I'm not going to have somebody put me in a corner. I will say things when I'm ready to, and I will do things when I'm ready to. And as a human being, I have that right. No one has the right to make you flee, but if you feel keeping your distance is help matters, then do that, because it can help. Every time you shout at them for shouting at you, you're getting caught up in the crossfire, and it becomes like tit for tat. And if you actually listen to what they're saying, you can often see it that is interpretation, that they are just acting like a child would when they are often the ones that say, that they act their age, and they don't. Because as soon as they're okay to take things from you, but as soon as you take something from them, they start to chuck things and start to, push things in your face, or try and make you cry. And it's like, what benefit are you getting from that? And it's because they don't want to face their own flaws. They don't want to admit that they are wrong, as I spoke before. And that's where fight and flight mode comes into it. If somebody's just purposely lashing out every day, then it's not worth arguing back sometimes, because they're just shouting for the sake of it. They just want their voice to be heard, because every time they hear your voice, they know you speak the truth. And often those that just scream and shout don't want to face the truth, and they're just doing it because it's the only way they know how to communicate. And when there's people, then you'll know when to fight. So I in these videos, I've not mentioned any names because I don't want to do that. But I'm just using scenarios to help people that I've seen are going through, tough times, even through COVID. And that's why I want to do these videos, because often when you're in a place where you feel fantastic, but you've got people still trying to attack you because they fear your success, they fear your happiness, you find that as soon as you fight, they go quiet, because they know that you're not going to scream, you're not going to become them, because that's often what they want. They want you to become them, because if you become like them, then it eases their conscience in, they're just lashing out for their own insecurities, and it is. And it's because people don't want to face their insecurities all the time, and they would just want to put it on someone else, because then they see they don't have to deal with it. When the people that, they do it to, they know they're not going to stick around. They know that at some point they're going to be off. And that's also what they fear. They fear that you're going to become something that they will never be. And that's where fight and float comes into it, because you know when it's time to walk away. And where they don't, they will never walk away, because they don't know. They just find that when they're not happy and they're feeling obviously not good about themselves, but they don't want to see it, they will lash out. And that's where constantly going backwards and forwards for them isn't worth the energy or the time. It's just time wasting. They want to waste your time, because they do it out of boredom, they do it out of, you know, out of resentment, because they resent your good work, because they will never find any way of doing the same thing, because all they see is wrong. They just want to believe that everybody else is wrong and they're right. And is it worth arguing over all the time? No, it's not. Just leave them, and you know, you soon know when to flight and when to fight. And so that's where, you know, and people say that when you fight, oh, it's because you're scared. No, you know the ones who are doing it and then are being cowardly in that respect, because they know what they're doing and they feel that they get high on doing wrong and that they will never be caught. But I do believe now that all walls do have ears, and you know when someone's just doing it because they're a coward, and people are just actually fleeing because they just don't want none of that stress. They just want to be left alone to do whatever they want to do and be able to live the life they want to live, and that's different. I don't fight just for the sake of it. I fight when I know it's time to step in. But when they're just shouting and hollering and they just doing it because often it's the only one they feel better, just allow them to get it out of their system, but never allow it to take you down, because they are just fearing you. That's their way of saying they're actually fearing you, but they don't want to admit to it, so they want to try and change the fear onto you, because in some respects it's the only way they can feel good about themselves. They feed off of people who are genuine and show real emotion, but often they won't. So flight and fight mode is, you know, there's different aspects with it, but often it's good not to stick around, because you know it's always going to be, you know, he's right, you're wrong, you know, and I'm right, you're wrong, and it's like, do you really want to be doing that all the time? No. And I don't care if they think they're right, because that's what they've decided to do. And sometimes you can't change someone's socks. They have to change it themselves, and if they're not willing to change their socks, then, you know, it's just that's when you just need to fly and do the things that you want to do, and never be feared. Because I think when looking at the fight and flight mode, it's a lot of it is about the people fear the fight or flight mode, but it's nothing to fear. It's actually when you know that you're never gonna agree with somebody, or never gonna be on that person's side. It is nothing to fear. It's your gut instinct a lot of the time telling you that this is never going to end happily, so it's time to go. And if you know, in terms of fight mode, fight when you know that person is, you know, perhaps going too far, but just make them aware, because a lot of time we've all done it where we've reacted in a way that's very negative, but we've not seen it. And I've been pulled up before about being, you know, when I worked at holiday camp, I was rude to a couple of people, and I didn't mean to, and I understand I didn't mean to, but at the time it was because I feared them, because I couldn't understand what they were saying at the time. And I knew that I was very weary of people, even though at the same time I loved working there, but they were very there were many people that were very cliquey, and I remember I've talked about it before, but I couldn't understand what he was saying. I was worried if I got into a conversation with him, I'll end up saying yes to the wrong thing, you know. And when he had a go, I was like, oh, bloody hell. Yeah, okay, I've been out of order. So I've learnt from that, and I will never ever want people to see that, you know. I would never want anybody to see me in that way, because I'm not like that. It's just I get weary of people sometimes, and if I can't understand what they're saying, I do get a bit like, oh, I don't know if I should, you know, get into a kind of like acquaintanceship or friendship, because I'm not sure what this person is saying. And there was another guy who, I did give him a bit of a hard time, but that was because there was at the time a lot of rivalry between those who worked in back of house in the kitchen to those who worked front of house, and everyone could feel it. So there was kind of like this kind of who's the better workers, who worked the hardest, you know. And there was kind of like this bad repertoire with those who worked back of house and those who worked front of house, and I got caught in that, and I do feel terrible for that, because I did have some good friends out front in restaurants, but because of that kind of relationship, it did affect how I was towards them and how they were towards me. And there's a lot to do because of people who stir up trouble. They want to see that there's cracks there when there isn't, but they create the crack, you know, and that was the case back then. But when now looking back at it, it's made me learn that that is not a good way of, and it's not a good working environment. Even though I did enjoy working at the Hardie camp, I didn't like that aspect of it, you know, because everybody who works at Hardie camp, you know, they all do their bit. You do get lazy workers, like in most places. Those who, you know, I used to do about 6 or 7 jobs a day before I did my actual own job, and there would be those who just wanted to do the one thing, and they'd be like, hang on a minute, I've just come in, and they, you know, they wouldn't take the time to clean down the dishwashers. All they wanted to do is take things off there and put them to one side, you know, without cleaning the cups, without, you know, help cleaning the cutlery. But looking back, there wasn't that many lazy workers, to be honest. We all knew how it all worked, and in the kind of way it did, but that rivalry did affect the relationship with each other, you know. And that's when you know whether to fight or flight. And when it really started to get argumentative, and it was like, no, I don't like being in here, so it's time to go. I either moved to another department, because I was working in all different areas of the camp, and I did try for another position in kids services, and to get out of there. I did also was given the job to look after the staff accommodation above, but I didn't like that job at all. It was cleaning it basically, and I got bored, I got fed up, you know, with it. So I didn't put my heart into that, and I don't feel I was the right person for that job, you know. You know, and I went there to be a red coat, and I kind of was more or less working in this side, but not intentionally, if that makes sense. Because when I tried to apply to be a red coat, I didn't get the chance. So, and so I knew it was time to fly, you know. So, yeah, you soon know, you know, there's 2 different aspects of fight and flight mode. There's one where it's danger, like physical, and those that it's mental. It's a mental strategy. So, yeah, I hope that's been informative, and I will see you soon in another video. And stay safe, be kind, be smart online, and let's work together. So take care.